Hello, and welcome to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology's weekly wellness break. Self-care is always important for maintaining our health and wellness and can be a way to connect with your community. During these unprecedented times, self-care is more important than ever. To that end, our outstanding faculty are sharing their expertise with you via these weekly wellness breaks outside of the classroom. Today we have Dr. Annemarie Slobig from our Chicago campus. Dr. Slobig is an associate professor and department chair in the clinical psychology department. She is a licensed psychologist who has been in independent practice doing psychotherapy and consultation for over 20 years. Today's wellness break is entitled Gratitude in Practice. Welcome, Dr. Slobig.
Thank you, Dr. Collins-Jones. I appreciate your introduction and welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming to the wellness break today. Good morning and good afternoon for those of you who are here. I'm really thrilled to have this opportunity to talk with you. For our wellness break today, I wanted to talk about gratitude in the face of COVID-19. In the last decade or two, we have witnessed a growing body of evidence that suggests that gratitude bears a very strong relationship to all aspects of well-being. Gratitude gets defined in a wide range of ways in the literature as an attitude, a personality trait, an emotion, a kind of moral achievement, a coping strategy, a habit, a lot of ways. And psychologists who are working in this area have addressed these different constructs in their studies. And on the basis of their findings that gratitude and well-being are so positively correlated, they have developed some very promising clinical interventions with gratitude at the center. Indeed, many people have suggested that gratitude interventions constitute one of the key successes of the whole positive psychology movement over the last few decades. So I wanted to just talk briefly about some of these interventions and then invite those who would like to participate in one. So some examples of these interventions include gratitude lists, which is exactly what it sounds like. You simply write down things you're grateful for. They can be large or small. It can be structured as a daily practice of writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, without repeating them, things like that. That's a very common gratitude intervention. A second intervention is a practice called grateful contemplation. Grateful contemplation is kind of a meditation practice in which the focus of reflection is on the sense of gratitude. Some also consider a practice called loving kindness meditation to be related to grateful contemplation, in that one extends their well wishes for others' well-being while they are in a quiet and relaxed state. There's a fair amount of evidence that that kind of grateful contemplation can actually really enhance one's well-being. And the third category of gratitude interventions are behavioral expressions of gratitude. And this category includes both direct expressions of specific expressions of gratitude, like unsolicited notes or letters to people who've made a difference in your life, but also just a broad intention of practicing kindness in all your interactions. So I thought it might be helpful for us today in our wellness break to share some of our reflections in these recent weeks of adapting to life during COVID-19. As a first step, it can be helpful to just come into the present moment, take a few deep breaths, use that action to kind of bring yourself to a kind of more centered state. So everybody just wants to take a minute, take a couple of breaths, try to let go of whatever you were doing before. If you're comfortable doing so, you might want to close your eyes or let your gaze just soften as your attention shifts to your breath. You don't have to try to control your breath particularly, just maybe notice the rise and fall of your chest or the sensation of the air in your nostrils or just wherever your attention kind of naturally goes. Try to let your email, your to-do list, your deadlines go away for a few minutes and just be here right now in the present moment. And as you take this break, consider whether there have been any silver linings in this very challenging time. There have been some unexpected observation, moment of pleasure, whether profound or mundane. Let yourself consider some examples of the things you're grateful to have experienced today or yesterday or in the last few weeks. I have found that I have really enjoyed it when colleagues and students have shared such experiences in recent weeks, and I wanted to give us a chance today to do that together for our wellness break. I know that our first break last week was not interactive. It was a presentation or an invitation into a practice, but it was just one person speaking. And so I'm hopeful this will work, but I will ask your patience if it turns out to be a little clunky. We have a big group, and so we'll do our best to make room for whoever would like to speak, with no pressure to participate if you don't want to. One final caveat before we get started, I did want to acknowledge that while we're talking about the benefits of gratitude, I also wanted to say it's obviously, maybe it's not obvious, I think it's okay to know about and acknowledge the very many losses we're all experiencing. While it's true that being stuck at home is far easier than, being in the situation of somebody like Anne Frank, or being in combat, or being in some other desperate situation in history, it is okay to acknowledge that our lives are very disrupted and our losses are real. That said, I'm a strong believer that the best way to mourn losses is in relationship. It's one of the reasons therapy can be so helpful, and to take the best possible care of ourselves in the context of these losses. That's why we're having these wellness breaks. So I do want to encourage people to take advantage of this opportunity to think about something that you're grateful for and consider sharing it. I'll go first. I wanted to share an observation that I had this morning. I was on a client call on a telehealth, video conference meeting with a client early this morning, and my current office is a small room on the second floor of my house, and I face a window that frames two kind of overlapping sets of tree branches, and both are budding right now, and the buds are very red. And this morning, for the first time in a month of seeing these tree branches every day, I saw a cardinal, which I see periodically in my backyard, but I never really noticed cardinals in my front yard. So I saw a cardinal in this red tree, red bird in this red tree for quite some time. And it was really unusual and beautiful, and I was grateful I got to see it. So with that, I would like to invite anyone else who would want to consider speaking up or turning on your camera and sharing an example with us. Can be little, can be big, be breakfast with your kids. Sylvia, you want to go? Thank you. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
So today I woke up, and then the first thing I did was I went to the dog park for a walk with my dog. And that was very meaningful, and It was powerful. Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have, you can kind of see behind me, I have a plant room in my apartment that I really enjoy. It's my little urban garden. And I've been watching this one plant. There's this small bud, and I've been watching it each day grow. And I think that I would have never had the opportunity to see that. And it's just about to open up. So I get to sit here and see that. And I'm thankful for that.
Thank you. I love that example. You know, the reason there's an image of forsythia on the screen right now is because when we did this practice a couple weeks ago on our campus, that was the example I shared, is that I had cleared the dead wood out of my way overgrown forsythia last fall, and it was in full glorious bloom this last week, last couple weeks. And I was feeling very grateful for that. So thus the image.
I guess I'll jump in. One of the things that has kind of come out of this for me is that I've started doing weekly Zoom calls with my brothers, and my parents have now, they found out about it and they were like, why aren't we invited? So we are just doing like this big family Zoom call every weekend, and it's been really lovely because we've never really been the type of family to do that, and it's just been really fun to kind of reconnect with my family, and we all live all over the country, so it's just been really great.
Thanks, Amy. That's a lovely example. I'm going to read from the chat that someone shared. I am grateful for being able to get time with my kids to do their classwork. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. That is one I have heard from many colleagues. I've also heard people express gratitude when their e-learning experience with their kids has been very robust and good and keeping them busy, because some people are having a challenging time adjusting to being home all the time and trying to get their work done with the competing demands of, you know, children. I am very grateful for my colleagues. There's some chairs on in my campus who have toddlers, and I don't know how they are surviving. My youngest is about to turn 10, and I just can't imagine having a younger child. So I admire all of you who are navigating that circus. We have like 15 more seconds before I turn it back to Teresa. Does anyone else want to squeeze one in? Well, thanks everybody who participated, and I'm grateful for your being here today and for taking time out, and I'll turn it back over to you, Teresa.
Thank you for joining us today for the Chicago School of Professional Psychology's weekly wellness break. And thank you to Dr. Slobig for sharing your expertise. You will be able to find today's wellness break on the YouTube and all of the Chicago School of Professional Psychology's social media sites. Please share with friends, family, and those in your social network who may benefit from these resources. Next week's topic will be on 5 tips for wellness, presented by Dr. Yvette Pryor from the DC campus. Until next time, stay well and know we are here to support you.